the chickens were not laying eggs for the past month to 2 months. There's been 1 or 2 chickens that sometimes lay eggs, and there's been almost 10 of the chickens that got broody. So broody means that they just started sitting on a few of their eggs or assorted eggs. And to make a long story short, they were starting to hatch the chicks, and then it became very complicated because I really didn't intend to have the chicks. You know, I just wanted laying hens, and I was going to raise them pullets and hens. So we got into like an unforeseen problem, and here's where we embark on our discussion today. And I ask everybody in the religion to open your mind. Now, from now on, when you watch a video of mine, you are a guest in my religion, our religion, if you want to call it yours. During watching the video, you are a temporary member, guest member. Okay, you are in the religion. That's an exercise you need to do, otherwise you're not really going to be able to watch the video and understand it. You have to play along, you have to pretend. I'm not saying that you go through life like you're in religion if you don't want to, but while you watch my videos, pretend. So the religion is about opening your mind. I open my mind, and I'm telling you things that are for discussion. Everything's a thought experiment. Now, in the background, you're just going to see some of my writings that I've done in the recent past, and I'm working on several books. You'll see some unedited spelling errors and everything. Now, if you want to say that I'm a vegetarian, that's fine, because I am. And lately, I've been a pescatarian vegetarian. So it means that most of the time, the days I operate as a vegetarian, and then some of the time I eat fish, so it's a pescatarian. But the days when I stop and I don't crave fish, I mean, it could be months at a time, I'm no longer a pescatarian. So I go back to being a vegetarian, and for all I know, I could be a vegetarian from then on. It could keep going. Because I don't know. I keep an open mind about it. You know, I don't force myself to be in a certain thing that I can't be because I'm going to have a craving, and then, oh, I'm going to have fish, and all of a sudden, like, okay, so what am I? The reality is more like what you do by the day. Today, I'm a vegetarian. And I know this sounds kind of like fleeting and nebulous. So like, oh, someone with no commitment, someone who's not really a vegetarian, only today, or someone who's not a Christian, only today, when they feel like it. You know, and people who want to be firm and stern about their commitments, they're not going to do that. They're going to frown on it. They're going to struggle to stay within this little box. You know, and that also causes a big problem in their life. Because if they make a commitment and say, I'm vegetarian, or I'm vegan, or I'm only going to eat Sattvic foods from the Vedic understanding, or I'm going to follow just in Chinese system of only hot foods, spicy or whatever. So, as soon as you make limitations for yourself, you become a mendicant, you become as a troglodyte, you become an aspirant to strict adherence, whatever it is. That is your religion then, for that point. And these are what they call vows. These are religious pious vows. Sorry, I'm just scratching. I got up, so I'm just scratching my head. I'm like massaging the scalp so my hair grows. You see, I still got a lot of hair from, you know, someone getting into their 50s. I still got a lot of hair. And, you know, it requires massage and proper nutrition. So, I'm digressing here because when you talk about diet, it's going to be according to your environment and according to your dietary needs. Your dietary needs have to take priority from using your instincts and your intuition. And you can't lay out a law saying, you know, I'm only going to eat meat. I'm a meat eater, and every day I have to eat meat. Some people do that, and they're actually hurting themselves. And the other way around, some people are vegan, and they need to eat an egg. But in their mind, they have said, no, from now on, and I'll never change it. But I want to hear from people, because this is a challenge. Tell me how long you have kept a strict, consistent diet. I don't care what the diet is. You could be eating gravel for all I know. But tell me how long you've been doing it. And if someone can come up and say, yeah, I've been doing this for 30 years, and not for one day did I break that diet. Not for one day did I eat meat. Or if you're a meat eater, you've got to tell me, not for one day did I eat a vegetable. Okay, because everybody is somewhat omnivorous, and there's a group that I was researching. They call it not communitarian. What was the term that they used for they eat whatever they can get, whatever there is. Not omnivorous. They had another term. They made up a term that was like a quirky way of saying it. Anyhow, I'll think of it later. So give me. I mean, if I will really commend you if you've been able to do that, and if you can tell me that that hasn't harmed you by being so rigid in a box. But let's go back to the premise, because you would say, and I would say, it is kind of shocking, but my mind is open enough to have these thoughts and analyze it. I thought, why don't we just take these chickens, the ones that don't lay any more eggs, and including the roosters, because now we find that there's one main one, and 2 of them have grown up to be roosters, where in the first few months you don't know what they are. Nobody can tell the gender of a chicken until it's reached a certain age. Like the chicks, there's no way to know without getting totally scientific and doing a DNA test. Just same thing with bunnies and a lot of animals. So we end up with at least 3 roosters, possibly more now because we have chicks, because some of those are going to be roosters. And I said, why don't we take these roosters and useless hens, temporarily useless, and just slaughter them one by one to eat chicken. And I said, you know, I made an investment of my time and money. We're talking a few $100s, and to me that's not chump change. You know, I live very modest. I live on a very low budget. Just so people know, I don't live like a millionaire. Living like a millionaire means, and not strictly with your assets and your wealth, I'm talking about spending millions to survive. Like living high on the hog. I literally spend, I can go just spending maybe $100 or less per month on myself personally. So if you're a single person and you can do that, you're pretty amazing, just like I am. You're frugal, amazingly frugal. So when you say a few $100s I'm losing because of the chickens not being productive, and if I just give them away, it's a loss. I don't want to take it as a loss. So I said, why don't we slaughter it? Because all those chickens, that would cost money if I bought the chicken meat from the supermarket. So I was giving myself a logical challenge to think this through, and then I said, well, you know, it's for my family and people in the community. Okay, the extended community, whatever connections we have, our associates at this time. So I asked you, and I said, because you're another adult and I wanted your opinion, and we openly discuss things, and that's what I recommend as much as we can. And I said, well, you eat the chicken. And do you get a craving for that? Do you think that, because, you know, just to be practical and frugal? And, well, now the little one here, my cute little one, let me see him. My cute little one here that I love so much, he doesn't want to eat. He says no. But I asked adult opinion, and I asked for my own, and she asked me, and I said, no, I really don't want to eat it. But then I started thinking about the organs, because I know it's kind of queasy if you don't eat meat, but I've eaten chicken liver before. I remember the first time that I openly ate chicken liver. I went to a restaurant. In fact, it was a Mexican restaurant that they had just opened. I had never seen a Mexican restaurant in my life. In fact, now I'm thinking, I think it was a Mexican restaurant. I'm pretty sure it was. And it was opened up. And anyone that's over there, the Hudson Plaza, go wash it with water. They opened it up, I went in there, I looked at the menu, and my friend for the past few years was always like into onion soup. Like the brown onion soup, and I wasn't into that. I never really liked that. I did later on, I did later after that, but during that year it was onion soup, and they had onion soup there, and they had chicken livers, like braised, right? So like in like a brown gravy, just like a plate of like a dozen or more chicken livers. So this was affordable, actually. I was surprised, and I got the chicken livers. Now, I don't do this as a habit. I'm just telling you that this is the first time when I was a teenager, or I was a young man with a growth spurt, adolescent still, kind of. And recently, though, now, decades later, I researched about tooth decay. Are you listening about the tooth decay? The organs of the animals are supposed to help you repair tooth decay. So that's a whole other video that I want to do about real dental care and theories. I don't necessarily believe it. I'm just researching now. So I thought to myself, oh, you know, I used to eat chicken livers, and oh, this is fresh and it's our own, and would I at least eat that? So then we started thinking about diet, and I need silence on the set. I really need silence on the set.
Just go feed him now?
Yeah, they need to go. So